This is one of our first non-magnetic cranes for the U.S. Navy mine hunting ships. And this is the crane at huge aircraft, their shock test setup. A huge hammer swung around and hit the bottom of this to check this instead of doing a barge-mounted explosion test. And it was pretty amazing. This is one of the first, I think the first electric boat that Director built. Gulfstream, Gorman, a construction company in Florida. Seadrill is a very big knuckle boom on one of their deep sea drilling ships. Rowan Drilling, this is at Hyundai and Ulsan. When we were installing the cranes, we did 16 for Rowan. Metson Marine, who's a Navy contractor. Marine Harvest, who's aquaculture up in Canada. Here's one of the torpedo weapon retrievers in Hawaii. The Mexican Navy doing a load test. The U.S. Navy Patuxent Naval Station with a very small crane on a very small craft. The U.S. Navy 500-ton-meter crane that NASCO built the ship. North Carolina Marine Resources. Noble Globetrotter deep-water drill ship. Neuter Erickson, this was a land-based crane that we built that was mounted on a 600-foot tower at a solar generating system in the middle of the Nevada desert. A teeny little crane for a yacht club. The Port of Long Beach, California on a new eco vessel. Ellicott Engineering in Baltimore built this barge that went up to the tar sands in Canada with our crane on it. Here's the Egyptian Navy crane. This is fishing. Don't want to get involved with that. Another Mexican Navy. This was a very special crane built for a client we have an NDA with. Here's a yacht called the Plan B that has one of our cranes on it, on the bow of the ship. Here's one of our access baskets being tested at the factory. One of the smaller markets is the barge lid handling cranes. They have to reach out 45, 55 feet and pick up the whole lid of a barge that's about 40 feet long and take it off so that they can vacuum the cement out with this other orange unit here. Here you can see them vacuuming the cement. And this is another cement barge unit that we had installed. One crane here and one crane here. This was a shipment of 8 cranes that we sent to Textron that was building the Ilcax for their mine hunting suite. This is a Swastiegos vessel that each one of them had one of our cranes on it, and I had gone out to Hawaii to do service on it, and it was pretty nice installation. Now we're getting into the oil business. This went to Antares in Argentina. This is up in Canada on the Rowan Gorilla 3. This is one of the first torpedo or drone aircraft recovery cranes that we built. This actually for the U.S. Air Force. They did have vessels, and this is the drone that we picked up with it. We had a special foam stabilizing device that we designed. Here's another yacht with our crane on it. Can't remember those people. The Canadian Coast Guard cutters with some of our cranes on them. These go back quite a way. The Point Lobos was a small vessel that Monterey Bay Aquarium had. Oh, and here's a couple of the cranes we built for the Israeli Navy SAR-5 corvettes, totally self-contained, with constant tension winches and personnel handling. These were cranes being shipped out, I don't know where. We have built a couple of telescoping cranes for oil companies. Well, here's a more modern picture of drone recovery. This is out of Port Hueneme in California. We have 5 boats with our cranes on them, one of our cranes on each boat doing this particular job. This is Atlantic Towing. That's a big vessel that their main job was to divert icebergs from hitting oil rigs in the North Atlantic. This small crane was used for rigid inflatable boat handling. Another special design there. This is an Aquar skid unit with everything self-contained. This is my California factory when I was much younger. And my team of Vietnamese workers that were simply incredible. This was for the NOAA ship Kaimi Moana. And this one is the Neuter Erickson crane, the big telescoping crane that was on the solar facility. We also built this big J-frame for the Kaimi Moana. And we had some very special design, low-profile cranes that were mounted on skids that we sold most of them to the aquaculture business. I kind of like to get my picture taken with each crane as we were shipping it out. This was for an EOD vessel for the U.S. Navy. And this is the finished crane for the MHC-53 Mine Hunter. This was a crane that we put on an Army Corps desalination barge 40, 50 years ago. The Monterey Bay Aquarium Western Flyer, this is back in the 80s. We put 3 cranes on it. This was another crane for Port Hueneme. And this one was shipped to Oceaneering International when we first started handling ROVs and AUVs. Another yacht. This was built for the owner of Land's End. And a famous underwater ROV called Jason was deployed by one of our cranes. And another very large telescoping crane we built for Transocean on their Deepwater Pathfinder. Another yacht. And this was for the Smithsonian Research Institute down in the Panama Canal Zone. And that one was delivered to Tidewater. And this is the original drawings for our Aquar skid-mounted unit with HPU and crane, all self-contained.